2022 so far. How has it been for you when it comes to crypto? I'm very curious if you potentially bought any new crypto so far this year. If you have, what have you bought and why?
I have added a bit to Ethereum, and I'll add more. I haven't yet. I will broaden out and do some more stuff. I'm trying to decide what to look at. I'm probably looking at some of the beaten down DeFi tokens and some other areas of the market that have been kind of beaten down, because we've had this kind of big sloppy sideways range now for months and months and months and months and months. But some of the market's been killed within that. So I'm starting to look at that stuff. Haven't yet deployed any money to it, but getting there. But I have been buying ETH.
Keeping your eyes close on the prize and Ethereum as well. Because I'm also very curious, we always ask if you're a new trader, where would you kind of position yourself? But I'm now also curious because we are seeing a slight more maturing market in 2022. If you were a more experienced trader, maybe been in the market 2 or 3 years, and you have, say, $50,000 to allocate, what would you look at allocating right now based on the previous trends that we have seen and where we're looking to head moving forward?
So I look at it in terms of network effects, what networks are growing within crypto. So Ethereum's the kind of biggest, most robust network in terms of the number of developers, the number of people investing in it. So that makes that one of your base, investments. Bitcoin, being the OG in the space, is another base investment. But then you want to start probably going a little bit further out on the risk curve. So we're seeing these layer ones, stuff like Terra, Avalanche, and probably Solana. Interesting. Then I think maybe 2022 is going to be the year of interoperability. So we're looking at, Polygon, Quant, and a few other things that might give us those opportunities. And DeFi's been quiet now for a year and a half. So I think we might see the next wave of DeFi, along with NFTs and social tokens. So there's a lot to play for still this year. Lots happening.
2.0, another exciting calendar event for those in crypto. And I know you're very optimistic on what you're expecting from Ethereum price from this, and also the Ethereum price structure building up to ETH 2.0.
So, it's the structure leading up is I don't know, because there's a bunch of things going on, which is the network's been slow because retail investors have had their earnings crimped by inflation, so they've had less marginal money to be able to put in. There's the Fed tightening, central banks tightening. So there's a lot going on in this picture right now, which is why these prices have been wide-ranging and sideways. Usually, these big events are a turning point one way or the other. So if you went into it at a high in ETH, much like we went into the ETF or we went into the Coinbase listing was the absolute high to the day. Because what you did with the Coinbase listing is you gave people another alternative. So before they were forced into opening Bitcoin accounts, then they didn't have to, so they bought the equity, and you lost billions and tens of billions of dollars of demand. So it depends what happens to ETH 2.0 and where it is. Because if the price is at a high, then all of the people who've been staking are likely to take profits when they can unstake. Now, when they unlock that stake, everybody else in the market knows that there'll be a seller, so you'll force them out at a lower price. It's just how markets work. If we go in at a low, then it's going to be like the Bitcoin halving, where suddenly this triple halving event happens and the price just recovers automatically because so much ETH is burnt. So I don't really know. I was expecting ETH to have been stronger into the back end of the year, and so therefore I was expecting this whole thing to be at a high. I just don't know yet.
But you did buy some more ETH.
I did.
In January, in 20.
Oh yeah, I'm still bullet. I mean, I haven't sold a single thing. I've done nothing but buy for 18 months, and I haven't sold a single thing. 20 months now.
I did watch a video of yours from October 2020, and you said that Bitcoin was in this supermassive black hole. The narrative will continue to grow for 18 months. And I was like, 18 months is quite specific. What happens after the 18 months? And the 18 months will be around March. Was there an intention behind March 2022, or was it more phrasing?
No, it was actually around the previous Bitcoin halving cycles and how long they last for. And previous price charts suggested that around March would be the peak. But that whole pattern fell apart in December. So everybody was expecting the rally. Market loves pain. It chooses to do the opposite for this lack of network growth and a bunch of this other things. So So therefore, it kind of suggests that the structure of the halving cycles has changed. And I think that's probably right. And I think the downside will be less. Maybe we're in a bear market, and maybe the bear market is down 30, 40, 50%, as opposed to down 80%, which was the previous ones. Maybe the cycles are shorter. I've looked at Amazon in the past. It used to start with big violent swings, down 95%, then down 80%, down 60%, and then it just did this and just went up. I kind of think that's what network adoption looks like. The more people come onto the network, the less downside there is. Yes, it doesn't spike as high, but the uptrend is stronger and the cycles tend to be shorter. So that's kind of my working hypothesis right now. We'll have to see how it plays out. But I kind of think the cycles are shorter and less steep.
And I think what's interesting as well, staking has played a huge element in this, and also the NFT metaverse boom, from my side, almost gives this kind of cushioning and support to vulnerable Ethereum prices. Is that kind of the case from your side?
So if you think about it, what makes a network really robust is not only investors in it, i.e. token holders, but when people are developing on it, and then you're developing other projects on it that also have investors on top, you're creating network effects. So if you think of ETH in those terms, so there's now demand for the network, which is why ETH is so expensive. Gas fees are so expensive because everybody wants to use ETH. Okay, and then you've got the other phenomena where those expensive gas fees are going to burning ETH. So what you're doing is taking ETH out of supply as well. And that's, I think, the key reason why ETH was up 450% last year and Bitcoin was up 60%. It's to do with the robustness of the network and that burning of tokens and the fact that Bitcoin doesn't have Ethereum, it doesn't have NFTs, doesn't have smart contracts, it doesn't have any of this on it. It's got the Lightning layer, but the Lightning layer, basically what it does is batches a bunch of transactions on one blockchain slot. So you're actually not using vast amounts of the network. So I think that's why Ethereum did so well versus Bitcoin last year.
This year then, continuing on, are you expecting to see the NFT boom? Because a lot of people were saying, well, is NFTs a bubble? That was a 2021 phase and fad, and it's going to slow down now. What's your take on the NFT super cycle that we saw last year?
I think NFTs are here to stay. I think we will see a lot of volatility in price because it's really hard to know what project's good and what's not. I think it's also going to morph towards music. I think it's going to morph. I'm seeing one about book publishing, where a guy has raised the money to write a book and a screenplay, which will end up being a film. So I think we're going to see all sorts of new applications for the creative industries and other industries coming out of NFTs. And it won't just be the PFP kind of part of it where, everybody's showing that. That was just the early start of this. And some of those projects will get decimated and some will just continue to do well because, people have decided that those have value and you want to be part of that community.